Welcome to a brand new episode of the Spiraling Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Wallace. I usually have my friend, buddy, and pal, Jason Holland here with me, but sadly, Jason is not feeling very well. He is unable to make it. So it's just gonna be me and the guest today. My first kind of solo one-on-one podcast. So it should be a really good time. But here today we have Smitha Gunturi. Please forgive me if I completely butcher your name. I am so
You are
sorry.
perfectly correct.
Smitha Gunturi is a women's advocate who helps others get through the adverse effects of their lives, and she calls that pain to passion purpose. Being a single mom working in IT and the corporate world for the last 18 years, she hopes to provide insight and bring new light to conversations around others' journeys with lessons she's learned. Thus, she started the Journey podcast, guesting similar walks of life to her own, focusing on child sexual abuse, domestic violence, and haunted relationship, rape, child loss, suicidal thoughts, and lone parenting. Smitha, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Jackson. And definitely good things happen to your friend, to Jason, too. I'm happy to hear that he's well. So, hi, Jason.
Yeah, hi Jason. Yeah, good. He'll be listening to this later. So hey, Jason, what's up, man? I know that he's just starting to kind of feel better, but he's not quite 100% and camera ready, we shall say. So, but we're just gonna kind of get on into it. But Smitha, it's great to have you on. First of all, guys, if you're looking for a podcast guest, go to Podcast Guest Connection over on Facebook. It's a little Facebook group. I've been using it quite a lot. We've been able to find some amazing guests, such as Smitha herself here. And anyway, I think let's kind of get on into it. Wow, what an introduction to start us off. First of all, that's a lot to unpack. It seems like you got a kind of a crazy story. I'm hoping that maybe you can kind of just tell us and the listeners, about you.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, having one of those traumas in life itself is like too much to bear.
Yeah.
Really. But having everything together and leading life for more than 30 years with all those things is a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that's me. First off, even before going into explaining about the traumas that I have faced or how I have come out, one thing that I wanted to tell everybody is there is definitely hope,
sure,
healing, and there is coming out of every trauma or everything that you are going through. Not every phase stays for long or stays forever. So have patience, fight through it, fight for it. You will be given through any traumas or any problems in your life because God knows, or the higher power, or whatever you wanted to call it as, it's known fact that you are able to handle it. The solutions are already provided. It's all in you to actually dig through that solutions, find that strength within yourself to come out of that.
Yeah. So, very powerful messaging off the start. We'll keep on going. I'm listening.
Thank you. So, let me start with the childhood sexual abuse. I'll be honest, I never spoke about this to anyone, any show. This is the first time I'm actually opening up to this conversation.
Wow.
Yes, you are the first one that is hearing one-on-one, and to the audience, everybody. So, sexual traumas, or the childhood sexual traumas, are something that leaves you a bigger scar than anything, is what I feel. Because rape or something else might happen in an adulthood that you already know what it is or what is happening to you, or something happening to you is wrong. All the other things that, at least the few traumas that I have mentioned, are something that happens while you're adult. So you already know or understand what is happening to you, though you don't have the strength to fight them at that moment, but you know. But the childhood trauma is something like you don't know about anything. You don't know what is happening to you. You think that is normal. And that's how it started for me. The first time it happened, I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And I was with my parents, obviously. And this person is a known person to my family very much. He's about 55 to 60 years old. And he was a construction building management kind of a person. There was a construction happening in my same compound where he was living. He was there working, and every time I step out, he just grabs me and take me in and starts playing with me. Oh. So after a couple times, I actually came back to my parents saying that it feels different because my dad kisses me, my dad hugs me, or like my uncles, everybody was there around, my entire family. And I never felt that kind of a difference with everybody. So I came back to my parents, my mom and dad. I told them, like, yeah, this is different. I
Yeah.
don't know what kind of a words I have to use, what I have to explain. I'll be honest, at that age, I was not even aware of good touch, bad touch, or any of that.
Right. Right.
So I don't know what is happening with me. So I told them, like, yeah, this thing that is happening with me is so different. Unfortunately, when I was explaining it to them, not explaining, just mentioning it to them, I don't know what to explain. When I was just mentioning it to them, this person who was doing to me was right behind me.
Oh no.
He came running, he picked me up right in front of my parents and again kissed me on my cheek and said to my parents, like, hey, this your girl is reminding me of my granddaughter. Here I'm for work and I'm missing my granddaughter a lot. And thus I'm just like, yeah, playing with her whenever she's around playing time or whatever. So hope you don't mind about it. Little that my parents understood, they were like, they laughed it out and said, like, hey, that's okay. You don't have to mind too much for it.
Oh no.
So for me, yes, my parents gave me a permission for it. Not to me, but indirectly for the guy, he got a permission. So even if I'm going back to them again and explaining like this is what happening with me, there is no such a thing as a bad thing that is happening to me. So for me, it's all right. That's how it is. So it continued for quite a time. And there was another guy joined him after that.
Oh.
He was also doing the same thing. And little that I know, the first person already got the permission, and I know there is no point in explaining about the second person because my parents will anyway says that is okay.
Yeah.
So it happened for like 3 or 4 years, I believe. And how I actually identified it is a problem is when it is happening, I had some allergies, or that's what I call it as allergies down there. And when I was taken to the gynec or the doctors, they mentioned the panties that I'm using or the cloth of the panties that I'm using is not suiting for my skin. And that's why I'm getting allergies only at the place. And nothing was ever being even tested.
Oh no.
So for me, everything is right again. So all that I know all the time is yes, everything is perfect with me and nothing wrong. But after around 14 years or so, I was molested by an uncle inside my house. That's when I realized, yes, this is not correct. Because at that time, I'm kind of like, I know what it is. I hit my puberty. I know what it is. I know what's happening. I know the changes in my body.
Yeah.
So at that time, when he actually touched it, that's when previous things triggered. And when I understood, like, yes, everything happened with me is not correct. That gave me a sense of insecurity a lot. And growing up, almost up until I met my ex-husband, where I was searching for that sense of security, I met a wrong person, I have to say, because all that I know about him was when this guy is around, nobody is going to talk to me. Nobody will come to me or approach me in any other way.
Right.
Because they think like, yeah, she is his girlfriend, or like, yeah, he is waiting on her. So there is no point in going to her or approaching her with anything.
I see.
So having this person around me for like 6 years, just explaining, just continuously approaching me that he's in love with me and he want to get married to me,
Hmm.
having that kind of a person around me for like more than 6 years, I just thought like, yeah, this is my ticket for security. This is where I can get security because all these years for 6 years, when this guy is asking me out, are like, yeah, whether I say yes or no, whether I like this person or no, nobody's actually coming near me. Nobody was even daring to come near me to talk to me at all.
Yeah.
That could be my classmates, that could be even my uncles at home, knowing the fact that there is some guy like around me like a hawk all the time. They don't even want to approach me or like be close to me all the time.
Wow.
So I have this separation from the outer world because of this guy, which made me feel so secure and happy at that place.
Yeah.
For me, deep inside, I know that I don't like this person. I don't want to get married to this person, but I don't have an outlet of feeling that security from anybody inside my family.
Right. Yeah.
So I asked my husband, ex-husband, telling like, if you are really interested to get married, in my society, there is no such thing as dating or like love marriage or any of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he likes, he goes to my parents, talk to my parents through his parents, and marriage will be arranged.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
told this guy, like, yeah, if you are so much interested in me, let's go and talk to my parents. If they agree, if they say, like, you are the correct person for me, or like say that you will be the perfect person, let's get married. I don't have any issues. But I'm not going to say that I'm in love with you or anything.
Okay.
I made it clear
Yeah.
for him, like, yes, I am not in love with you, but if you really wanted to get married to me, regardless whether I love it or not, yeah, I'm fine because I have to get married to somebody at some point.
Right. And this is the process that you have to take to go
Yes.
through that. Gotcha.
So knowing that this guy is giving that security for me is like, I'm not losing anything. I know he's controlling, but the controlling is for my security. That's what I felt.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay, I'm fine with it. And yes, we got arranged, and yeah, we got married. The first minute after marriage, when we were moving out of that altar, the dialogue that came out from him is like, do you think that, do you know any Bollywood actress by name Aishwarya Rai? She's a Miss World.
Mm.
I don't know if you know her, but yeah, she is like a renowned actress too, but she's a
Yeah.
Miss World. And he was like quoting her name there, saying, do you think that you look like an Aishwarya Rai or something to make me roam around you for 6 years and you never even accepted my love or never said me that I love you? Now you're at my foot, I'll show you life.
Oh, okay.
So then I understood, like, yes, he just wanted to marry to show to everybody, like, I did not accept him, but
Yeah.
he's got me.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
So knowing that fact, I even thought, like, okay, I mean, whatever this thing happened, now that I'm married, if I can be that perfect wife that he's expecting, things will be okay. Things will be all right. So I started doing everything, whatever he wants me to be, even if it is his thought that he thinks like, okay, I have to be dressed in certain way. I just did it.
Mm.
He don't like me to have my hair loose like this. I never did that. He even just for the case of it, like if you take a head shower and come out and have your hair like that, the immediate comment that you will get like, are you a prostitute or what? Always have your hair
Oh.
like this walking out.
Oh no.
Like, okay, no, I'm nothing like that. I just tie it up and walk away. Every little piece of life was controlled so much like that. And less than a year, like in 11 months, I had my son.
Mm.
And I, it gave me a reason or to move on with my life, saying
Yeah.
like, I have my son right now and I have to take care of him, and there is no other world at all.
He's the only thing that matters. Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped my education after my graduation. I did not study after that, getting married and having my son. When I had my son and having this life going through this kind of negative journey,
Yeah.
but it triggered me like, I have to do something. I have to be financial independent, or like I have to stand up for myself, because I don't want my son to learn and be like this guy for some other girl. I don't
Yeah.
want to have that life at all. So if I'm going to sit in that four walls and keep crying forever, this is the same thing my son is going to learn. Regardless of whatever I'm going to teach him, like in that four walls with the crying face, telling like, hey, you have to fight for your life, or you have to better yourself, or anything. I'm not being an example. I'm
Yeah.
just being that word. So I applied for my master's again. I started going to school.
Very good. Yeah.
I completed my master's in computer sciences. That's what my introduction is like, yes, in IT world. And
Congratulations.
thank you. So yeah, from there, the minute I became financially independent, he started being so insecure and always question on my character. So
Mm.
to anybody that I talk to, he has a question. He thinks that I'm sleeping with them already.
Oh goodness.
So every work location, he actually make friends, and he makes them to spy on me without even them noticing or understanding it.
Oh.
So if you know corporate well, we'll have like regular landlines.
Yeah.
Regular landline number will be one, and the extension will be another number, 4 digit or 3 digit number. If
Mm.
I'm not picking up my extension number, he'll call the very next extension number. Let's say, for example, if the extension of me is like 100, the
Yeah.
next person will be like 101. The other person will be
Gotcha.
102. It will be like the series of
Mm-hmm.
numbers. So he just calls another number until somebody picks, and he asks me, there should be this girl. Can you please ask her to pick up the phone? She's not picking up the phone. And if the other person says, like, yeah, she went on to a meeting, or like, yeah, she's with the boss or something, is the boss a guy or a girl? How long is she in the room? Is there anyone else apart from her with the boss in the room? All these questions are asked to the third person, not to me. I still have my cell phone in my hand, but I never get a call to cell phone. I always get a call to landline to check on me, saying if I'm staying in the office or if I'm somewhere else. He drops me and picks me to office. I was never allowed to go anywhere without him, period. Though I earn, my ATM card or my everything will be under his control. I will be given my daily charges just in case if I have to eat some food in my canteen in the premises of my office. I'll be paid exactly the lunch money. I'll not be given more than that. Every need of me will be taken care of by him. The dress that I wear will be given by him, regardless of whether I like it or not. That's the only thing I can do. So this is how it started. While working in the corporate world I heard that he's calling these extension numbers from a person sitting next to me. He took time to actually come to me and say that. Of course, everybody will take that sensible timing, I guess.
Yeah.
He came to me and said, like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I was like, do you know that you get calls? And I said, like, what calls am I getting? Then he was like, exact timings. These timings are the timings that I get a call asking about you, whether you are at your desk or whether you are somewhere else. And I'm like, is that my husband? And he said, yes. So you are aware of it, that your husband is spying on you. I said, yes, I am aware of it. And he was like, see, I'm coming and asking you. Not everybody will come forward to say you that positive note, like, hey, you have to take care of yourself. Some guys might be there to take a chance on you. Like, hey, she's already having a lot of problems. If I can show that little love, we can start a little affair or whatever that you call it as.
Yeah.
So you might need to go back to your house and talk to your husband to stop this nonsense, because it is actually degrading your character in the office. It's just not with me. This same thing is happening with everybody around this place. If I'm not picking up the call, he's actually calling the other person, if not the other person. So almost all of these guys know about your life. Yeah. So do you want to take it on? For me, I don't even know his name. Really? Then I asked, like, thank you so much for letting me know. So what is your name? And hi, nice to meet you. I sit right next to him, like 4 or 5 feet away.
Yeah.
So that's when I understood, like, yeah, this is what my life is, even though I'm there financially independent, so-called financially independent, though I'm not actually having my money to myself or any of the power that I need to have. Mm-hmm. So my only understanding about the other side world is US, I'll be honest, because my brother moved to the US even before my marriage, my own brother, and had the same kind of a background like mine. Mm-hmm. In the education. So for me, if anybody can step out of the country, US is the only place that you can travel to. Gotcha. I don't even know that you can go to any other country or any of such knowledge at all. So my only focus is like, okay, I'm in corporate world right now, working in IT, so I can definitely go to US. So my only focus, working hard, everything is just like, yes, I have to leave this country so that I can leave this guy.
Yeah, so you can get out. Mm-hmm.
While this was happening, he started having multiple affairs with multiple women. All these women come home, and everything was happening right in front of my eyes in my own bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately or fortunately, whoever starts dating him, after a while being with him, they actually start being friends with me. I don't know how, I don't know why. They'll find my number. They call me, they tell me, like, this is what your husband is doing. So are you aware of it? And I say, like, I know that he's roaming with some other girl. If you are the person, so what do you expect from me right now? Why are you calling me? After talking to me for a couple of times, they really become close to me, and they say, like, now we realize that we regret that we are doing this thing to you. So we don't want to be friends with your husband. We are disconnecting that relationship or whatever it is. And they give me advice like, why are you even living with this bastard? Why don't you just leave him and go?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know that. I'm planning for it or like thinking about it. You don't need to know about the details. But yes, I'm trying to take care of my life. For all those years when all these things happening, I don't want my son to keep watching all this drama.
Right. Yeah.
So I gave up my son to my parents. So first 7 years of my son's life was not with me. I go and visit him for an hour or two every day in the evening after he comes back from school, after my office is done.
Hmm.
And then I'll spend some time with him. Once I moved to this IT world, I moved out of my original native place where my son and my parents were there. So I used to travel every Friday night. I reach by Saturday morning to my native place. I spend
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday with my son. Sunday night, I start again. My journey is 12 and a half hours.
Wow.
So again, I go back on Sunday night to Monday morning. Monday morning, I get done and go straight to office. I did that for more than 3, 4 years, every single week.
Oh my gosh.
All that I was trying to do is like protect my son not to have this kind of life, or he should not even know that there is something happening like this.
Yeah.
I don't want him to see that I'm physically abused by my husband. I don't want him
Hmm.
to see that I'm financially stressed out, emotionally stressed out, or any of it. Well, this was happening every single time when I'm not listening to his words. One time, the abuse, physical abuse, gone beyond a point. I was 5.5 month old pregnant with my second child after the son that I have right now.
Hmm.
He beat me up so bad, thinking and saying that the kid is not his. And the way he beat me up left me on the road. I couldn't really like survive, but after my bruises came down a couple of days later, I had to go to office just to have a basic check on what is happening with the baby and realized the baby has passed away.
Oh no.
So
I'm sorry.
that's fine. Things happen. There is hope. That's what I started with.
Yeah. That's tough.
I know.
Wow.
So yeah, hearing that from the doctor, writing an emergency note saying like I need an abortion right away
Hmm.
because the baby passed away and I should. They could not understand how I am alive yet, having a dead baby inside me. I mean, seems like it will not happen. If the baby is dead inside, the mother will pass away
Yeah.
sooner or later. But I'm alive, but my baby passed away.
Yeah.
So I was rushed out to an emergency for yeah, an abortion. I got my kid out and I was actually requesting the doctor since it is 5.5 month old. It is definitely known like yeah, you can understand whether the baby is a girl or a boy.
Hmm.
So at least I just wanted to see my baby, and she was like, "No, I'm definitely not going to show or anything." And the way I thought was like she's just giving a heads up. It will hurt by seeing a baby like that, so it's not good to me or like any of that. So I
Yeah.
thought like she's just pushing me not to see it, but I just wanted to see it's my baby after.
Hmm.
So I pushed myself, but she don't want to show. And she, once the operation is done, she left the operation surgical theater. And then the lady who was cleaning, she does not know the conversation. So she put the basin where my baby was in onto the floor, started cleaning the table. That's when I turned up and saw the baby. I still remember that the baby is not there at all. It was all into pieces.
Mm.
It was like a big chunks of blood clots, and the formation itself is not there anymore. You can't even see that it is a baby or anything. You can just think like if you keep it on a outside meat place or anything, you just feel like it's the blood of something. It's what it is. It's
Yeah.
just full of clotted blood. So I asked the cleaning lady to call the doctor in, and the doctor came rushing in and asked like, "Did you see the baby?" And I said like, "Yes, I did." And she was like, "I told you not to look at it, and I know why." Because the reason to suggest this abortion itself was that it was like a I know what is happening, that's why I don't want you to see the baby. And I said like I'm not worried about the baby that has passed right now. I'm not going to give birth to these bastard kids anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry that words. I just told that and I told her like I am not going to give birth to any more kids. For me, I felt like I did something wrong. I'm not able to protect my kids, so there is no point in bearing kids anymore. I asked her, like, I don't want a kid. I don't want kids anymore. Let me get it out of it. You do surgery or whatever it is. I don't even know the procedures at that time. I told her. She was like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's not correct. And it's not correct as a medical thing too. Since you lost the baby just now, you might be emotionally affected, and I
Yeah.
shouldn't be saying that. I said, like, no, I'm never so straight thinking perfectly. I want this to happen, regardless whether you do it or not. If you are not doing it here, I'm going to pay a little more to someone else somewhere else. I'm going to make it happen. I'm never going to have kids again. If I really wanted to have kids, I can go and adopt a kid in future.
Yeah.
But thinking that I'm going to bear this guy's child again, I'm not able to accept that because it's not okay for me. It's not the correct thing for me to do, regardless of her multiple suggestions and whatever those things are. I forced her to uh, make a tubectomy operation on me, surgery on me. So I decided I'm not going to give kids. So I just closed that. This
Yeah.
guy was so furious on me. I did not ask his permission. I just did on my own. My parents were never supportive to me on anything, though the fact they know every bit of life. My father knows about it, actually, all of it. But for the societal pressures that they have around, my father is like, I can't accept my daughter to be a divorcee in the society. Instead, I would rather prefer you dead.
Oh my gosh.
So there is nothing I can do. I thought, okay, then let's be it. When I took this decision that I don't want kids, they none of them actually, nobody was there in the hospital with me to even help me with anything. I was left there for a week, I guess, 5 days or a week. I was just all alone by myself with the surgery. I came out and continued with my life as if nothing happened. Fortunately, I got my work visa and then I moved to the US, thinking like, yeah, this is it. I'm leaving this guy. But I'm moving to the US. Unfortunately, my father passed away with cancer just a couple of years back. Me moving into US.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
My my mother was left alone, but my kid was still with her. So I told her, like, if you think you can't take care of my son, I would take him. But if you still want him as a change of your life too, because my dad is not there anymore. So she loved my son a lot and she wanted to keep my son. She said, like, I can. She gave me that help or like support from her side, though she lost her life partner. She was
Hmm.
like, I can take care of your son, so don't worry about it. So I moved to US and I told her, like, I'm going to send the paperwork in next 3 months or so. Even my brother is here. My brother can send paperwork for her. I can send for my son. So let's get my son after 3 months. Knowing that my husband don't want to send my son to US, so he seized his passport.
Okay.
I asked that's the first time I ever opened up my mouth with my brother asking, brother, I need help.
Yeah.
This has gone too far and too long. I need your help. Then he was like, what exactly is happening with you? Like, I don't have any idea because all these years he was abroad. He was in US. I
Yeah.
was in my native. I was in the other places with my work and everything. So I explained a very little on a very high level to my brother saying, this is what happening. And his first question was like, does dad know about it? What did he do? And I said, like, yeah, dad wasn't able to take the societal pressure. He said, like, he don't want to help. Though he saw my husband with multiple women and everybody around the house was complaining about that.
Yeah.
It's just not me. Dad was that, and my brother was broke, and he was like, let me help you with this. He actually traveled for a week from here back to India to get my son.
Okay. Yeah.
He went back, he picked my son, my mom, and they came back here. After coming here, my ex-husband started going to everybody around the family, started crying, saying like she was cheating on me, and you
Oh
guys
yeah. Mm.
don't understand that, and that is the reason I was trying to control her. Now that I understood, I should not even control her. All these mistakes have happened, so forgive me, and I wanted to go back and live with her. Everybody jumped on to my family saying like all these years she never ever mentioned about any of these things happening to her. Now that everybody knows, we wanted to help her and let her husband go back to her. So all these guys again gave him a ticket to come here and stay with me back.
Oh no.
So after me traveling here around a year timing, he came back and he joined me back. In first month he was fine, he was quiet because it was like a year that we even properly spoke to each other. I was never talking to him at all.
Yeah.
After he came here for 1 month, he was fine, and the next month it was like more than before. He started spying on everywhere. He was not allowed to work. He came as a dependent on me to this country, so he wasn't allowed to work. So he don't have anything in his mind to do. So he was just sitting around in the house. So whenever I'm there, he started behaving like a psycho. So with again with the physical abuse, everything started back, and somebody next to my apartment gave a call 911 complaint saying like there are a lot of noises, crying noises, or like physical abuse noises were heard from this apartment, so and so. So the police came at 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., knocked my door and asked like what is happening. I wasn't having that strength or the dare to tell them like this is what happening. I just told them like yeah, nothing is happening. He's watching TV. I couldn't actually like step out that boundary to say them or like stand up for myself to tell them like, hey, this is what happening. I need your help. I could not say that. After a week passed, he understood that even if the police are coming in, I don't have that in me to tell them this is what happened. So he started going more than that, and he started actually involving my son a lot, saying to spy on me. And if my son is not actually telling what is happening with me when in absence of him, he started physically abusing my son. And my son was around 7.5 years, 8 years at the time. I was giving him bath every day to my son at that time. And after a bit, I stopped. He wanted to do it by himself. And one day I was telling him, like, it's so long that I gave you a bath. Are you even cleaning yourself properly? Let me give you a bath one day, then you can continue again for next 1 month or so. This guy was like not allowing me into the bathroom at all. And I thought like he's shy or something. And I was like, okay, let me at least like scrub your back and then I leave you continue your bath again. And he was like, no, I'm not removing my shirt. I'm like, what is happening? Why are you not removing your shirt? And I just like pulled him towards me, and he just screamed in an odd way.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening with you? And I actually removed the shirt. He was like, he don't want me to talk. He was just closing my mouth because he don't want my voice to be heard out. And I just whispered him like, what is happening? And he removed his shirt, and I saw the TV remote mark on his back.
Oh
And
my gosh.
what is happening? And he said like, Mom, this is happening every single day. He told me if I'm going to ever tell you this, he's going to kill both of us. And that gave me a breaking point. And I said like, we are not going to live like this. So please bear with me for a couple of days. I went back to the police station myself. I walked in there. In that conversation with my son, he actually asked me one thing before even I said that. He was like, Mom, if you think I need a father and I have to be with my father, do you think he is the person? He is not the person to be a father at all. Can we please walk out?
It's powerful.
A 7.5-year-old, 8-year-old son was able to ask me, saying, is this guy needed in our life? And that's the first time my son was ever living with me and him together. He never lived with us before. Even for that little period itself, when my son was able to feel that, for me, that gave me a breaking point. Like, he's not worth it anymore. I don't want to give any more chances.
Yeah.
I walked to the police station myself the next day. The minute they saw me with my address, when I explained that, they have my case registered by a lot of people around calling them 911, it seems. So they said, like, it's not one time. We have got your case multiple times, but when we knocked your door, you said there is nothing. We were just having an eye on your house all the time and just waiting for the time that you can walk into us. because we can't just come into you, though you are saying there is nothing happening. We can't just barge into your place and say like, hey, is this what happening to you?
Yeah.
So we were waiting for you to step up and come here. Now that you are here, let's take care of this matter. And that's how we were able to get separated first. And
Got it.
honestly, when I was getting separated, this guy started threatening me, saying like, "Do you think that you are safe if you are not living with me or something like that? So let me see how you are going to make your livelihood or anything." So every place that I work, everybody know me as like I'm some kind of a bitch.
Oh man.
So he ruins my name with everybody saying like, yeah, she's characterless, she's that, she's this. And all the men tries to take a chance, whoever wanted to take a chance with me. And the other men will say like, hey, your husband is talking too much to us. Can you ask him to stop talking?
Mm-hmm.
The person who wanted to take a chance, they'll be behind for some days with unnecessary comments, flirting, and all these things. After a while, when I was working in Cisco, after 1.5 year time, one guy came up to me and said like, I'm really sorry. I was actually, that was my last day with the company. I was partying and it was like a farewell given to me. And that day he came to me and he said like, I have to confess one thing to you and I have to say you sorry as well. And I said like, what's going on? Your husband told about you like you some kind of a bitch. And I've been following you for a long time to take that chance and to be with you for some time. It never happened and I never saw you anywhere apart from your house and office ever. But your husband was always telling that you drink a lot at nights, you roam a lot around with the guys and all. And I've been following you for 1.5 years now, and I never saw you anywhere. So, do you think it's worth to live with that guy? That's what he asked me.
Yeah.
Uh, I know that he is complaining on me, or like, yeah, he talks about me, but I don't know the exact width of the scenarios that he actually explains about me. So, on and all, I think he talked about 15 or 16 guys that I'm sleeping around
Oh
so
my
far.
gosh.
So I'm like, yeah, if I'm really able to have that many people, I would definitely enjoy that, I guess.
Yeah.
Why am I going to sit in a corner and keep crying my life out like this? I can happily step, if I have that guts to enjoy with people like that, I would happily step out of you first. Forget about whether I'm enjoying with somebody or not. I can happily step out of this jail and enjoy myself, have my kid in a proper way.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that police conversation, we walked out, me and my son. But anytime I move to a new apartment, a new place, less than a couple hours, this guy come and knock my door and say like, I know you're here.
Mm.
So after an year and a half or so, I moved out of the state. I don't want to be in the same state, in the same area, or like in the same localities, at least for him to drive through and understand that I'm there or something. So
Yeah.
I left the state. I moved to the place where I am in right now. Less than a week, I received a package from him to my physical address.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I moved out of the state. I did not tell anybody that I moved to so and so place. Apart from my own brother, nobody knows where I live either.
Mm-hmm.
So how does he even know about me? And he sent in that package, he sent pictures of me and my son. When I took those pictures are from my phone, where I took after leaving him. So how is he even able to get the access to those photos? I don't know.
Yeah.
So he sent those couple pictures and he said like, I'm missing my son or something. And I'm like, I took all those things with the previous record that was there with police and everything and got restraining order straight for a couple of years. And then he stopped talking to me on the phones or like calling me or like following me like that.
Yeah.
But emailed a couple of times saying like, yes, I'm still looking for you. He went back to my brother. He said to them saying he changed now. He started enrolling into college and he is also getting some education and things like that. He's a changed person and he wanted to come back. He's missing his son and so and so. I asked my son again, like, hey, seems like your dad is looking for you. Seems like he's missing a lot. And my son's only word was like, who is that person?
Mm. Yeah.
He never called him. Since then, my son never called his father as father or like that. He says that person. I don't want to talk to that person. I don't have anything to do with it. So when my son was around 14-year-old, I thought like, yeah, okay, then there is no point in just keep dragging it. So let's get divorced. So when I was getting those things, I mean, those details, I got an email from him saying, I know that you're trying to divorce me. Do you think it is so easy?
Mm.
I'm not going to leave you and I'm going to fight for our son. It's going to be a custody battle. Get ready with the money. And though, since I am a dependent on you, my lawyer fees is also on you and I'll hire the best lawyer ever.
Mm.
So what I thought is like, I met many lawyers actually. And the last lawyer that I met was in that field for about 50 years. He was 90 years or like 80 plus years
Oh
old
wow.
when
Yeah.
he was not even able to walk properly. That was a free consultation given by him. I wrote an email to him saying my story, like a couple paragraphs or so. I wrote a very brief explanation about what is happening to me. And he said, like, let's meet for 30 minutes and see what I can help you with. So the only, when I stepped, he took only like 6 minutes or 7 minutes to tell me. He did not use the 30 minutes at all. His only question was like, are you dating? I said, no. Do you have any boyfriend? Or like, do you want to get married? And I said, no. Then why are you rushing to get divorced right away? I'm like, yeah, I thought it's time. I mean, it's been a while that I'm living outside of him, more than 4 or 5 years by then. So I thought, like, yeah, man, I can just get rid of that and move on with my life. Then again, he asked me, like, what do you mean by moving on? If you don't want to get married to somebody or like go on a date or something, how is this marriage on a paper is still bothering you? Is he coming back to you right now with your restraining order? Definitely, he cannot come back to you, and he's not coming back to you. He went back to your brother saying that he's the best person again, but he's not coming to you, right? Yes, he did not approach me directly in any way. So I told him, like, yes, he did not. If that is the case, being in this profession for so long, I don't want you to waste your money with all the financial crunches that you have. I would give you one suggestion: just wait for your son to turn 18 years.
Mm.
When he's
Okay.
18 years, there is nothing as a custody battle and there is no property between you guys to share or anything. Then it's just a piece of paper, just an application fee for you to go to court, get by yourself, fill the application, put it there, and you're done. I really liked that idea. I thought, like, okay, then why am I rushing out? There is
Yeah.
nothing that I have to do with that paper. So I just left it. My son's 18th birthday, my son got the application divorce form to me saying, like, this is my gift to you on my 18th birthday.
Mm.
He
Yeah.
gave it to me and he was right next to me when I was filling and he made that signatures. When we went for the court hearing, even the judge asked, like, I did not see any property or like any custody battle, but I understood that you have been living with your son all by yourself for past 8, 9 years so far.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you going to have this free custody money or something they call it as? Because all these years I'm the only person taking care of my son without him getting involved in anything. So she said, like, I can go back and get all that money for you. So you have to just write those details in. Since how long are you being alone? How much did you spend on your son or any of those details? Or
Yeah.
like just give me a number so that I can write the number here, sign it, so he has to pay that money to you. And
Good.
she actually saw my son sitting right next to me in the audience when before I move into that space to talk to her. Then he was like, "Is that young man your son?" And I said, "Yes." And my son was also standing behind me, and he was listening to her. And I just looked at her and I said, like, I don't need anything. I don't need a single dollar from him. I need him to sign the paper, and I want to be done with it. She said,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to write that on the paper. I mean, sign this paper right now. You will never be able to fight that money in your life. Are you okay with it? And I said, yes. And she paused for a second and she looked at my son and she asked, like, hey, your mom is deciding here, saying that she don't want any money. So how about you? He just laughed and he said, like, I'll agree with my mom. We don't need any money. Just sign the paper. We wanted to leave.
Wow.
She gave, she gave the paper signed, my divorce notice. Is that what you call it? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Something like that. Yeah.
Divorce decree. Yeah, she signed that. We took it, and we were just walking out. We found her like outside at the courtroom after, and she said like, I have seen many cases these days, but I never met anybody not to want a single dollar from the other person. And you are so strong in your life. Just keep your heads up and move forward. And I'm like, yeah, definitely, I'll keep that in my mind. And that's how I was able to come out of that haunted relationship. That's what I wrote there. And my domestic abuser relationship since then. Yes, I'm a lone parent, and I'm a happy singly ever after.
Oh my goodness, Smitha. You just took me on an emotional roller coaster.
I know.
I hope you understand. Like I really think that there could be a movie or something made of this.
Trust
I
me,
just
I'm actually planning for it.
I hope so. I hope so cuz I
That
mean,
movie, actually, yes, a series kind of a thing. Yes.
yeah,
I'm actually talking to media people.
I'm so glad that you are. That makes me so happy cuz your story deserves to be told to everyone. I mean, incredible sense of resolve and strength. There's no way I could have made it through something like that. I think you are absolutely incredible, and
That
it,
I just wanted to say one scenario actually. The early stages when I walked out of my relationship, I mean, with my husband, 2010, yeah,
yeah,
2010 August September period. All my friends are nothing but like the work colleagues. They know that something is happening bad with me like this, and looking at my husband complaining all these days and things like that. And I walked out of the relationship. A couple of girls came up to me saying like, "Hey, I think you might need a therapy. Why
yeah,
don't you seek therapy? That would be a good thing for you." I don't know what they actually do. I mean, the therapists do. I said, like, okay, let me give it a try. Nothing wrong in that, right? I mean, if somebody wants to just hear my story out and help me in whatever the way they can, I don't know what they can, but let them help me if they can.
yeah,
So I actually took an appointment with a therapist and went there. Her first question is like, okay, explain me what is your situation, what kind of a help that you are expecting, and things like that. So I all this story, this lengthy story, I told her in like 10, 15 minutes or even less than that. Around 10 minutes, I guess, I was able to give a very, very brief
yeah,
explanation. This is what my holistic life is. I never spoke about my sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse, to be honest. But other than that, the complete, my domestic abuse relationship and everything. I just told her, I thought, this is what my story is. And she asked me, like, okay, what kind of a help are you expecting from me? Where do you want me to start? And I told her, like, this is what I want to do for this year because I just walked out of friend. This is what I wanted to do, which is like, yeah, getting my financial stability. And so far, he's the person who is actually taking care of everything. I don't know a single thing how to even lead my life for any of it if I'm given completely financial freedom.
yeah,
I don't know what to do. So first, I wanted to learn that for this year and take care of my son, get to a better school and things like that. Then next 5 years, this next 10 years, this. This is what my goal is. She was looking at me. I was even trying to explain like how I wanted to do that.
yeah,
She she started writing initially and she closed the book and she said, "Who suggested you therapy?" I said like, "Yeah, my friends who were in the work location. They just told me like, you have more clarity than me on your life. There is I don't think there is anything that I can help you more than what you are today. So do you really need a therapy on your name? Because when you are going for your divorce, at the time I was thinking about the divorce. So when you are going for divorce, I don't want this to be on your name, where when they dig back, your husband can even say like, yeah, this girl is like mentally challenged or whatever that is that he can twist it. He can
yeah,
very well say like, yeah, this girl is going for therapy, counseling. She is actually bad. I'm been telling to everybody. Nobody is listening to me. He can twist that, and I don't want this to be on your record. I'm going to cancel this. You can move on with your life. But anytime if you just need my help, if you think that you really need my help, you can always come back and have this. But to me, to listen to you now and to see you, I don't think you need a therapy or anything. You have clarity, you have strength, you know what you wanted to do. Just keep going."
just keep going. That's
So I
right.
was, yeah, I was never in need of a therapy too.
That is absolutely wild and insane. I am, yeah, like I said, beyond speechless at just that story. I mean, just the trauma and going through and thinking that this was something that you should be used to at such a young age with multiple men doing what they did to you, and going through what you did with your husband, and restraining order and everything. Wow, that's just
So
thank
that,
you, thank you for coming on and telling us this story.
thank
I
you. Thank
I really do appreciate it. And I think you're an incredibly strong woman, and I think that's awesome. I'm going to call my sister after this and tell her about this story, and she's going to be inspired. But anyway, yeah, I just had a couple follow up questions, and I mean, I honestly don't know how I could follow up that story, but I just had a couple quick ones. If you still have some time, we're gonna run over anything? Are we okay?
you can talk to me how much ever long you want.
Okay, all right. My
I just left this evening open.
Okay, good, good. I know we're running on a longer episode, but stay with me, guys. This one's too good. This podcast episodes are so far too good to just to let go. What does pain to purpose mean for you? I know you gave a really big explanation, but if you're like you have your little elevator, like pitch that you're giving to people and talking to people about your story, what is basically what does pain to purpose mean?
So I said the pain to passion to
Pain
purpose.
to purpose. You're
Yes.
excuse me. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, no worries. In a shortcut, I mentioned like, yeah, pain to purpose, which is correct. The reason I say is like, there are a number of women that are struggling with at least one or the other thing in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that we are always afraid of. One is fear of freedom that should come within yourself. We always think like, have that fear to cross that line. I'd ask only one question. What is that you're going to lose if you cross that line? If you are failure after that crossing, the thing that you are already present in, there won't be any change. You are going to fall back right in the place where you are at. But if it is going to be successful, you have to never look back again. You don't have to look back again in your life at all. You can just keep moving forward. And that one step to cross will give you the confidence in your life that you can never imagine. You will not understand that it is existing within you so far, but you still can move forward with that one step. That first step is so hard for you to decide and move forward.
Yeah.
There will be some kind of a triggering point or a hope that is given to you, which is present right in front of your eyes all the time. It's just that presence of mind and patience for you to find that spot, a reason for you to hook on and move forward. Everybody will have that reason. Everybody just stays back and cries, sit in the same place. While crying, yes, there is nothing wrong in crying. You cry how much ever you want, but clear your mind, at least like after a bit, and then try to understand what is next. How long are you going to sit there and cry? What is the root cause of where it is coming from? You are not into that situation just overnight. You travel into that situation for so long that you don't even understand what the root cause is. For me, when I say like, yes, I moved into this domestic violence situation and I bear him for so much, so long, because my root cause is my insecurity feeling.
Mm.
I don't have a proper person in my life to give that security to me. Even today, why I came onto this show, talk about my childhood sexual abuse, though I say this is the first time I spoke about it. 3 years back, my son was showing me, my son and me are like very, very close. There is no topic that we don't talk. We absolutely share about everything, even
Yeah.
his friends, whatever that is, it doesn't matter. I only told him from his 12th year or so, the only thing that I ever tell him is like, you first be financially independent to get a girlfriend. That's when you get a respect. That's when you get to understand what the woman really need. Then you understand how to respect a woman as well. Apart from that, I never stopped him for anything. Even that, I did not stop him. I just gave that sense of feeling for him, how to be respectful for a person by himself and how to respect his partner.
Yeah.
Regardless whether it is a girlfriend, whether it is a friend, or like anybody, doesn't matter. When a girl is right next to you, you keep your hands to yourself. You don't have to keep your hands on them. If they wanted to come and hug you, just be in that limit how you hug. Just don't grab them because they gave you a chance to.
Yeah.
They're coming to you because they trust you. So teaching him from that roots or like from that age gave him an understanding. So coming back, like, yeah, 3 years back, he was sharing a video about a sexual abuse happening to some kids. 13 kids were talking about their abuse that was happening. And it was a talk show kind of, and every kid was talking about their experience for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
He showed that video to me, and without even me noticing, I started crying a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when he saw that with me, I usually cry even watching a Cartoon Network. So yeah, that's me.
It's okay. I understand.
So even a normal cartoon Barbie movie or like whatever these movies, Tangled or any of those movies,
Yeah.
I actually cry. So yeah, he was like, I know that you cry, you get emotional by even watching a cartoon movie, but right now the way you are crying is feels me so different. Mom, is there something wrong with you? I couldn't tell him for so long. I think I was crying for more than a couple of hours without even saying a word. I was not talking anything. The video was stopped, and he was just right next to me, just holding my hands, hugging me. And after a while, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I just grabbed my words just to tell him, like, something like this happened to me when I'm a child. That's all I could say. I just told him that. He hugged me so tight for the whole night. We both were sitting in the sofa,
Yeah.
and he was hugging me, and he said, like, Mom, I know that might be your parents might not understand, or like you might felt like, yeah, they failed you or whatever. I am here now with you. Nobody is going to come around you to give any discomfort to you. I'm your man. I actually call him my mini dad. You you always call me my mini dad, right? I actually have his contact and everything as mini dad only. And
That's very cool. Yeah.
I call him that from his childhood. So he was like, you call me mini dad, right? So let me take care of you like your dad. This was supposed to be from your dad, which you missed, and I'm going to give that to you. And you're never going to worry about anything in your life hereafter. And that's in that conversation was when I felt like, okay, he was the one actually triggered that thought to. Now that you're telling this to me, you're not able to collect the words that what happened to you. But if I ask you to start talking about your story to others and tell them like there is hope, there is life after this, would you be able to do it?
Yeah.
I said like, yeah, what do you mean by that? How do you want me to do that? I was actually talking to other women about domestic violence, abusive cases, and all those things, but never about this subject. He was like, no, if you feel comfortable, try to make a podcast. Or like, yeah, go to YouTube channel or I'll do anything for you. All the techie things behind the scenes right now for me, for my podcast and everything, he's the one who takes care of it.
Hey, let's give a hand to him. That's fantastic. That's that's awesome. Cheers to the tech guy. I do that for our podcast too, so I can level with him.
He is way too much into techie. He is like a techie savvy. He is a media person. He makes songs. He makes YouTube videos and things like that. So yeah, he enjoys that. He is behind the scenes person for me.
He sounds very talented. You must be very, very proud of him.
Definitely.
Yeah, he sounds absolutely amazing. Well, that's wow, that's fantastic. I'm so happy for that and for you and for everything that you've been through and having the strength and the courage to talk about all of these things and go on to these different podcasts and do your own thing. And actually that leads me right into my next question. So I understand you got your new podcast, right? It's just started up. Maybe would you like to tell us about that for a little bit?
Yes. Everybody, if you have heard the monologue, I don't know if you got a chance to hear that or not.
I watched it right before. Sure did. I actually have a question about it. Go ahead.
Everybody has like a number of traumas in life. Some people might be just like the suicidal thoughts, or some would be like bullying or anything. I chose my podcast to when you asked me the previous question, pain to purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to focus only on these topics that I have got through. The reason being, I know the root causes, I know the fears, I know how people think, At least a part of it. May not be everybody's mindset, but again, majority of it are like most of the part that I can think through. So when I'm talking to my guests or asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
as a listener, being in that situation, I know what kind of questions that I wanted to ask a person. So I
Yeah.
chose only that. And also when people say like, yeah, you might have heard this being in this industry now for quite a bit. Who are your targeted audience? When you're explaining about these traumas, why do we need a targeted audience first? I needed help. I in this journey, I was homeless too. I did not tell that, but yeah, I was not able to give every detail because it's going to be a day long or even more than that.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
But yeah, I was homeless for a bit. I was standing on the road with my son without understanding where to go and what to do. I had only a $20 bill in my hand that was given to me for my food for that day. But I picked my son from the school. I have gas in my car, who has just started driving from Fremont or Pleasanton, that we were living at the time in California, towards
Mm-hmm.
LA. I started driving without understanding where I wanted to go. I picked up my son on a Friday evening. So when my son got into the car and I was not actually going through the house roads, my son was like, "Where are we going? We are not going to home right now, right?" I said, like, "Yeah, we're going for a drive." He was super excited. He was like started dancing, shouting in the car for a bit, and then he fell asleep.
Yeah.
I drove as far as I can, which is like LA at the time. I don't know where I was going to, but just started driving towards the freeways and hit LA.
Mm-hmm.
When I was close to LA, like Riverside, I believe, next to LA or like close to LA, I believe so.
Yeah.
When I was around that spot, there is nowhere that I can go. I just parked the car because it was too late at night. Even I was feeling sleepy. I parked the car in a open parking lot on a mall. I was just sitting there, and my son was like half asleep. He got up and he said like, "Mom, where are we?" And I said like, "Yeah, I'm actually looking for a room. We came for a vacation."
Mm.
Little that he understood, he just asked the question and fell asleep back. And I was like, I don't want to disturb him until the morning because he's going to get up and again ask me like, "Yeah, where are we?" and things like that. And in the morning again, when he got up, and I was like, "Okay, seems like rooms are full here. So yeah, I'm still waiting for somebody to vacate and then we can go inside, which is going to take like around 11 o'clock or something. The room service available." He said like, "Oh, okay, then can we eat?" And I have only $20 in my hand. I don't know what to do with it. I said like, "I'm not hungry, so can I get you something?" He asked me for a burger or something in and out at the time. I got
Mm-hmm.
him in and out, and he ate that, and he was like super excited to have that vacation only with me without his dad.
Yeah.
So he did not even understand that we don't have a room. We are on the road, and we are. I don't know where to go. He did not realize any of it. I was just standing there. After that day passed, one of my friend called because they know that I never step out of the house. They did not see my car in the parking lot, and they were like, "Hey, where are you?" We thought like you had to stop by. I said like, "I'm not in the house. I saw your husband around the corner, so without him, you never go anywhere. And now you're saying that you're not there at house." And I said like,
Yeah.
"Don't ask me too many questions. I'm not home." Her husband kind of caught a little from that voice, and he picked up the phone. He is actually my friend more than her. He
Yeah.
picked up the phone and he was like, "What's happening with you?" And I said, "There is nothing." And I used to share my location with them. So he
Mm-hmm.
looked up and he said, like, "You are outside outskirts of LA. What are you doing there? Where is your son?" My son was like talking in the back and he was able to hear him and said, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I can still hear your son. So where are you exactly?" I said, "I don't know." "What do you mean by you don't know?" "And I can see you that you are in outskirts of LA." "Oh, is this LA?" "I don't know. This is LA." Then he did not ask me a single question. He said like, "I'll call you back in 10 minutes." He disconnected the phone. He gave call back in 10 minutes. And before that, he sent me a text of a hotel address. He gave me a call in 10 minutes back. And he said like, "I sent you address. Just go there. And so on. So room is booked on your name. Just stay there." He did not
So
ask me a
kind. Yeah.
single question where I was, why I went out, or like what is happening with me. Nothing. He
Yeah.
just answered that. He booked the room and he told me to go there and wait there. I said like, okay. But yeah, my son, whatever his mind was like, yeah, that we are going on a vacation. and I'm going to get into the hotel became true for him. He was
Yeah.
super happy, and we enjoyed those 2 days literally like in peace. After the two
Yeah.
days, that's when I came back and I went to the police station directly saying, like, yes, I just needed that 1 day peace of mind to
Hmm.
actually think through on what is going on.
Yeah. You need a minute to process everything.
So yeah, that's where it is.
Man, I
Oh
just
yeah,
yeah.
we can keep wrapping it up.
We could keep wrapping it off, but I'll tell you what. I have just one final question. I won't keep you too much longer, and that's just you know, where can we find you? Tell everybody what you got going on right now. Take a moment. You want to plug anything? Obviously, your podcast. We're going to put a link to it down in the description below. But just any final thoughts, words, what you got going on?
You can find me anywhere with my name, Smitha Gunturi.
Mm-hmm.
Insta, YouTube, of course, my Journey podcast, the link for now. And yeah, all the other medias, it's just my name, Smitha Gunturi. I'm actually creating my own website right now. It is under construction. Once I am done with it, I'll post it as well. And yeah, final word, as I said, if there is a problem given to you, the solution is also within you. Have that patience, have that trust within yourself. You don't need too many people to believe in you. You don't need actually anybody to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. People say, like, yeah, your shadow will follow you, but even the shadow will go away in the night. That is not going to stay with you. The only hand that is going to wipe your tears is only yours. Get that strength. You will be your whole person, and you can move forward with anything that is happening in your life. Take it from a person who has these many things happening. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Powerful words indeed. Smitha Gunturi, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Like I said, and you're an inspiration. You're an amazing woman. I'm very shout out to her son. What's your son's name? If you don't want to give it out, I totally understand.
No, no worries. Rohit.
Shout out to Rohit. Super for
Both, sorry, he calls himself Ro because everybody
Ro.
butchered his pronunciation. So
All right,
yes,
sounds
Ro.
good. Shout out to Ro out there, man. Jim, from one tech to another. I love what you're doing, and your mom's super proud of you. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful, guys. You can find this podcast where all podcasts can be heard. We're literally everywhere. We're on Anchor, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google, we're on Spotify. We're gonna put a link to her podcast, Smitha's podcast, the Journey podcast, down in the description below. Link to her YouTube channel as well, guys. Be sure go check it out. Go see episodes of her podcast. Of course, like and share and favorite this one. We really do appreciate it. But thank you, Smitha Gunturi, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.